Hey everyone, this is Cedric from Vertex Marketing Agency, and in this video, you'll learn everything you need to know about Instagram Reels. You'll learn what they are, why you should be using them, how to unlock displacements, some of the best practices when creating Instagram Reels, and then also how to actually go in Ads Manager and create them yourself. So you're going to learn all that in this video, but before we jump ahead into this content, I'm just going to ask you that you give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel because we release videos about Facebook and Instagram ads every week. Anyways, let's jump into today's video. So what are Instagram Reels? Reels are short, entertaining videos on Instagram where you can express your creativity and bring your brand to life. But more importantly, why should you be using Instagram Reels? Well, when you compare something like Instagram Reels to a regular newsfeed ad, Instagram Reels actually takes the entire screen, a little bit like a story ad. So Instagram Reels is a great way to occupy the entire real estate. And when someone has your ad in front of them, you truly know that this is the only thing that they're looking at. Another reason why you should be using Instagram Reels is that it's a newer feature, meaning there's less competition. A lot of companies have not yet adjusted their creative so that they can fit in this new placement, right? So this means that their videos are potentially too long. They might actually not have enough videos or maybe not the right format, which we're going to discuss what those things are later in this video. But my point here is that there is less competition on Reels, meaning there's more opportunities for you and your brand to show up more often and have a cheaper cost per result, depending on what your campaign objective is. Instagram Reels, when done right, can also blend really nicely with the organic content. So someone could be watching a lot of different Reels and then watching your ad, not realizing it's actually an ad. So that's why Instagram Reel is really great for that. But let me actually prove it to you, and let's do a little exercise together. So I'm going to open up this little phone on the side here, and let's just go through some Reels together. And you're going to see that it takes you about 2 to 3 seconds for you to realize that it's actually an ad and not just like an organic post. But also keep in mind that right now this is an exercise, so you're looking for an ad. If you were just scrolling on Instagram, right, just scrolling, going through the Reels on your phone, you would not be really expecting an ad, so it could even take you longer. So that's why when a Reel is done right, well, it can truly blend in with the organic content. But let's take a look at some Reels together. It's crazy how much of a good job Instagram does at keeping people engaged. And here you go, you probably saw, but that's our ad, right? And this is actually an ad for a video editing software. But they do a really, really good job at blending in. So if you notice, like the first 3 seconds, it's just this girl hitting the other, well, which actually herself, hitting herself with the pillow, and it just blends in nicely with the content. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how to create good Reels later in this video. But the point I'm truly trying to make here is that when Reels are done properly, they can truly blend in nicely with the organic content. And I think one of the reasons for that is because when we're looking at either an image or a video, whether that's organic or paid on stories, let's say, we always see the name at the top, and then right underneath it, if it is an ad, we see sponsored, and usually people, when they see sponsored, they just try to skip it. And same thing when they look at something on their newsfeed. But with Reels, it's a little bit different because the sponsored message is actually not located at the top. It's located at the bottom. And the way that Reels, like you're scrolling down, usually your eye will look either at the middle or like the top of the video. So the brand's name, and if it's a sponsored ad or not, is usually one of the second thing that you'll look at when you're watching a video. So that's why I say that it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for you to realize that it's actually an ad, but that 2 to 3 seconds gives you some time to capture the user's attention and keeping them engaged. So that's why Reels is really amazing. And if I had to say one last positive things about Reel is that they don't expire. Not like stories when, let's say you set up a video, it will expire about a certain amount of time, and even if the user doesn't touch your phone, it's going to move on to the next story. But Reels are not like that. Whether that's organic or paid Reels, like with an ad, they actually don't expire, meaning when the video is done playing, it's going to replay and it's going to keep replaying. So that's just another positive thing about Reels. So let's just quickly talk about how to unlock this placement, because you need to do certain things in order for your ad to show in the Reels placement. So first of all is a campaign objective. So Reels are actually not available in all campaign objectives. As I'm recording this video, this might change in the future, but again, as I'm recording this video, they're not available for all the different objectives. So they are available for traffic campaign, brand awareness campaign, reach campaign, traffic campaign, app installs, video views, and our classic conversion campaigns. And some other technical requirements is that it needs to be a video. You can't use an image. It can either be an MP4 file or an MOV file. The video needs to be between 0 to 30 seconds, so it can't be 31 seconds. But if ever you do have a video and you're like, damn it, I really wanted to use this one for Reels, don't worry, later in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can actually use a longer video and only edit that specific placement so that it fits on the Reels placement. So I'm going to show you that later in this video. And then the other thing is the format. So the best format for this is actually a 9:16 ratio. You could use 4:5, and I use 4:5 sometimes, but the best ratio for Reels is 9:16. So one thing that you could do is, let's say if you have a video that is 4:5, is use your 4:5 for all your other placements, and then you could use your 9:16 only for Reels. Again, I'm going to show you how to play with that later in this video. So now that we've covered the technical stuff and you know what you need to do to unlock that placement, let's actually talk about the best practices, because this is actually what's going to determine if you're going to like the Reels placement or you're going to be like, oh, you know what, this is not for me. I prefer just staying on a news feed. So I would say the most important thing is to focus on the first 3 seconds of that video. So let's actually watch that ad that I showed you earlier, and let's see how they're using the first 3 seconds to blend in with the rest of all the organic content. So she's coming in with the pillow and then boom, hitting her with the pillow, right? So that's probably like first 2 seconds, and everyone wants to see what's her reaction when she hits by the pillow, right? It's just like human nature. And then they actually go about explaining how they did that, and then they go ahead and they pitch the app. But they did a really good job at capturing the user attention in the first 2 to 3 seconds. But you don't need to hit someone in the face with an object in order to capture their attention. What we did for a client that sells an attachment for a guitar is we actually had a video of just someone playing guitar, but for the first 3 seconds, we decided to add like sound waves coming out of the guitar, like a cool effect, just again to capture the user's attention. Let me give you another example. We have a client in the waxing industry, and what we did for the first 3 seconds is we just showed like a really hairy armpit, and then we go through the process of like what they do and how they work, and then also the end result. But that hairy armpit or the sound waves coming out of the guitar, again, for the first 3 seconds, just really captures the user's attention. Another thing to keep in mind when you're creating your ads for the Reels placement is that you definitely want to have sound in your videos. If you think about where Reels come from, well, they actually come from TikTok, and TikTok is all about singing, dancing, and listening to music. So make sure that you do have some sound, whether that's voice or background music or anything that includes sound in your Reels ads. But don't forget that there's still a lot of people that will watch Reels without sound, the same way that they're watching videos on the newsfeed without sound. Maybe they're in a public space, or maybe they just don't want to have sound on. So definitely keep that in mind. So you potentially still want to have things like subtitles or some text on the screen. So this actually leads me to my next point. As I mentioned earlier, in Reels, the name of the company and also like if it's sponsored or not is at the bottom of the screen. So there's a little bit more information down there. So you want to make sure that you don't have any text or anything like that in your video that could potentially be covered by, I don't know, your logo, by your company name or sponsored post, or even the text. So definitely make sure that when you're editing and adding text to your video, that it's not in that area. So these are all the different elements that you need to keep in mind when creating a video for Reels placement. Now I'm just going to go in Ads Manager, and I'm going to show you exactly how to upload a creative in that placement, and also how to make modifications for that specific placement. So I'm going to move my face from the screen so that you can see my entire screen, and I'll show you how. Great, so I am now in Ads Manager. I'm in my demo account, and I'm just gonna honestly start from scratch. So I'm gonna hit the create button, and I'm just gonna pick a campaign objective. And remember, you can only use the Reels placement for a few different campaign objectives. So all the campaign objectives that you see that are highlighted in yellow, those are the ones that you're gonna be able to use that placement. So I'm just gonna pick conversions, and I'm gonna hit continue. And this video is not about how to properly create campaigns. So I'm actually gonna skip the campaign and then the ad set just to go directly to the ad level. And you're gonna wanna make sure that dynamic format and creative is off. And format, like I said, this only works with video. So you're gonna make sure that you check this option here. So single image or video. And then scroll down, and then you're gonna add your video. You can hit the button upload, and I'll just upload your video, but that's actually the one I'm gonna be using right here. So hit next, and I'm gonna keep everything to original and hit done. And if you look on the right here, this is actually a pretty cool feature and allows you to see exactly what your video will look like in all the different placements. So now that's just a video that I made really quickly. So I am not following the best Instagram Reels ads practices. Again, I just made this really quickly. But if we look on the right here, we can see exactly what this video will look like on all different placements. And what we truly care about in this video, because what we're talking about is Reels, is the Reels placement. So right now, if I click on Reels placement, I'm currently selecting this placement. If I want to see what it looks like on story, I can just hit the story placement, and here you go, it changed right here at the top. So I'm gonna go back to Reels, and you can actually make modifications to a specific placement. So all you have to do is click that video or the placement, and if we look at the top here, there's an edit button, and you can click on that, and then it gives you a lot of different options and a lot of different ways you can edit your video. So the one that I'm going to be talking about is change and trim, because let's say you actually have a video that is 35 seconds, right? So you made this video, it's awesome, looks good, it's probably going to perform really well on a news feed or in stories, but you actually can't use it in Instagram Reels because it's longer than 30 seconds. So what you can actually do is go back into your video editing software and shorten the video, and then just hit the change button and upload that newer video that is below 30 seconds. So that is a good way of always making sure that your ads are showing in the Reels placement. So another thing that you can do is that you can actually trim the video. So instead of going back into your video editing software, maybe you can actually just trim the video and hit save, and perfect, your video is not going to show in the Reels placement. But just one thing to keep in mind when you trim a video is you need to end the video at a good spot, right? So you might want to make sure that when you're trimming your video that you're trimming at the right spot and it doesn't look weird now that the video is trimmed. So always double check that, but this is how you go about changing maybe a video that is too long that won't show up in the Reels placement, by changing it or by trimming it. Now, if we go back here, the way you're gonna know if your video is gonna show in the Reels placement or not is just by knowing what the best practice is, which I've already covered earlier in this video, but you can also take a look here. So whenever you see a little icon like that in that specific placement, that means that your ad won't show in this placement. So right now we can see that my ad is gonna show in all the different placements, but it's not gonna show in this one right here. And it's also not going to show up right here in the Facebook right column. So it's okay. I'm okay not showing my video in these different placements, but if that's something that you would want to fix, again, you can just hit that and hit the edit button, and maybe you want to actually change your video and add and upload a new one. It's also worth mentioning that you can edit your ad or your video by clicking the edit button here, but you can also edit your entire video by clicking here. So what's the difference between clicking the edit video here and editing the video here? Well, the biggest difference is that this one's actually going to apply those changes across all placements, which that might be something that you want to do. But if you want to make some small tweaks for a specific placement, because you're truly trying to maybe personalize it for that placement only, like I said, shortening the video to, let's say, 29 seconds so that you can show up in the Reels placement, I don't think that you would want to go ahead and shorten your video for all your other placements, for example, news feeds. So what you can do is edit the placement specifically over here. So from here, all you have to do is just double check, make sure it all looks good in all different placement, add your primary text or more than one, your headline, your description, set your call to action button, and add your URL, and you're good to go and publish your ad. Now, I know that some of you guys might have a question regarding the placement, so under the ad set level, so you actually don't really need to touch that. So if I go back to the ad set level and we scroll down to the placements, I usually leave it to automatic placements, especially when I'm just working with a new client. I'm trying to learn which placement works best for this specific company. I always set it to automatic. Then I can kind of get a feel and see, okay, well, we're getting some of the results and the CPM and the reach on these specific placement. I can get a feel of what's best for that specific client. But if you select automatic placement, your ad is going to show up in the Reels placement, as long as obviously you're using a video and it's under 30 seconds and you're following all the different rules. But if you hit manual placement, it's still going to show, but you have to make sure that Instagram is checked. If Instagram is not checked, well, obviously it's not going to show in that specific placement, because I mean, Instagram Reels are on the Instagram platform, right? Kind of makes sense, but make sure that Instagram is selected. So guys, here you have it, everything that you need to know about Instagram Reels. You now know what they are, why you should use them, how to unlock the Reels placement, and I've also talked about some best practices, but I've also actually went in Ads Manager and showed you how you would go ahead and upload a video and then potentially edit the Reels placement if you see that there needs to be some tweaking. So if you've learned something from this video, well, let me know in the comment section. I'd always love to hear your feedback, and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And like I said, we release videos about Facebook ads every week, so really consider subscribing to the channel. Anyways, bye for now.